What is going on, YouTube? I am the one and only Mose, and thank you for tuning in to Mose Knows. Today, we are starting a new series here on the channel called The Checkup. We're going to check up and check in with all 32 NFL teams across the NFL and find out where are they right now. As of right now, what is going on with every single team across the league. We're going to take a look at, key additions, new arrivals. We're going to take a look at some players who have departed and no longer with those teams. And at the end, we're going to take a look at potential starting lineups for the offense and the defense of all 32 teams across the league. I think it's going to be a fun series to just go through and see the different changes, see new faces and new places, old faces, new places, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to get into it. Now, we are in the time of year where it's very slow. Not a lot of news going around the NFL. Most of the players are on vacation. Some are still training, working out. Some are rehabbing. OTAs just finished up a couple of weeks ago. Players are kind of getting away from the facility, but they will be back towards the end of July. And that's when the rubber meets the road. That's when it gets into the nitty gritty, as my man G Maya likes to say. Shout out to G Maya. Get down to the nitty gritty. In training camp. Training camp's going to be starting towards the end of July. If you look at the upcoming training camp schedule, there are 3 teams who will be starting early. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys will be starting their training camps on July 21st. Now, this is due to both of those teams participating in the Hall of Fame game on August 5th. So because they'll be playing that game early, they get to start training camp a little bit earlier. The only other team who gets to start training camp early is the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because they will be playing on Thursday night to start the season. And I believe that is September 9th. So they'll be playing first game of the NFL regular season, September 9th. Now, the reason why there isn't another team is because they play the Dallas Cowboys. So because they've already started July 21st, there doesn't need to be a 4th team to start early. So the 3 early teams are the Steelers and Cowboys on the 21st. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be starting training camp on July 24th. And then every other team in the NFL will be starting training camp on July 27th. So we're going to go through this checkup. We're going to start with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then we'll move to the Cowboys. We'll move to the Buccaneers. We'll go in that order since those are the 3 teams starting early. And then after that, it'll just be random. Pick a team, go through them. There'll be no order with those. We'll just, pick random teams. And, when your team comes up, come on into Mose Knows and check out that video. But again, let's start with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's start with the losses first, because I think specifically for this team, I think the losses are pretty big. And I think the biggest area where they saw a lot of loss was that offensive line. But we'll go through it. We'll take a look at all the players. So we have first outside linebacker Bud Dupree, who was lost in free agency, signed with the Tennessee Titans. Next, we have that offensive line that I mentioned. So we have guard David DeCastro, who was recently released. Center Marquise Pouncey, who retired. So that's another huge loss. They lost tackle Alejandro Villanueva. They lost tackle Matt Filer. That's 4 starting pieces on the offensive line that the Steelers no longer have. We have cornerback Mike Hilton and cornerback Steve Nelson. So 4 offensive linemen, 2 corners, and you lose your second best pass rusher in Bud Dupree. Those are a lot of holes to fill, particularly on the offensive line. You upgrade the running back position. We'll get into that when we talk about additions, but you definitely want to be able to protect Ben Roethlisberger. He's definitely one of the older quarterbacks in the league. He hasn't really been known as a mobile guy, but in his younger years, he was definitely strong, not hard, very, very hard to bring down, and he could escape pressure and escape sacks more easily than he does today. So I would think you would want to keep a very solid and sturdy offensive line in front of him. And losing 4 guys like that on your offensive line, one, you worry about, the talent that you're losing, but you also worry about continuity. Those offensive linemen have been playing together for a long time. They know each other's tendencies. They know each other's, strengths and weaknesses, and they complement each other so well. This new group is definitely going to have to learn each other and figure out, the tendencies and build that cohesion as a unit. And I don't know if that's a good thing, in front of Ben Roethlisberger. So we'll see how that affects, their starting lineup and what they're able to produce on the field. Moving over to the key additions, let's see who they added. So right off the bat, we have running back Najee Harris, first round draft pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. After him, we have tight end Pat Freiermuth, aka Baby Gronk. In free agency, they added running back Kalen Ballage, offensive tackle Joe Haig, and guard BJ Finney. Those are some of the additions that they had. You can look at the rest of their draft class. I have a video talking about the Steelers draft class and all of the other draft classes in the AFC North, as well as the divisions across the league. You can check that playlist out. I have all of those videos. So if you want to see the grades that Professor Mose so graciously gave out to all 32 teams, go check out that playlist as well. But those are some of the additions to this Pittsburgh Steelers team. Obviously, you replace James Conner with Najee Harris. I think that is a good upgrade. But again, you worry, is the offensive line in front of him going to be able to manufacture the holes and the gaps that he needs to be a successful running back? Will they be able to pass the ball as efficiently? That will open up some of those running lanes. That will, help as far as play action. Now, the running game and the passing game play off of each other so well. If the offensive line isn't opening up holes and Najee Harris isn't, wearing a defense down with running in between the tackles and, the power back that he is, then that, negatively affects, the play action pass game. If they can't pass, if there's no protection and Big Ben can't, hit a 5 or 7 step drop and, hit his guys in stride and on time, then teams are going to say, okay, we know they can't pass. They can't protect Ben Roethlisberger. They're going to have to run the ball more. But then you get into, this issue where their defenses are stacking the box. They know you can't pass because you can't protect Ben Roethlisberger. And now they stack the box and now they help stop your running game. So the offensive line is going to be key. If the offensive line can stay healthy and can build some type of cohesion and play together, I think the Steelers will be fine. I think they'll be absolutely fine. But there is that issue of the offensive line. So let's dive in real quick and let's take a look at the potential starting lineups. So let's start with that offensive line. So at center, no Marquise Pouncey. Enter in rookie draft pick from this year, Kendrick Green out of Illinois. Slated as an interior offensive lineman, has some versatility and can play guard, but more than likely he'll slide in to that center spot. So you have a rookie playing center. They signed Trey Turner. I should have put this on the addition list. They signed Trey Turner, free agent. He takes over at that right guard spot for David DeCastro. I learned a lot about Kevin Dotson during my mock draft series. I had the Steelers going offensive line, and a lot of you Steelers fans said, hey, don't sleep on Kevin Dotson. Put the tape on, watch it again. So I put the tape on, I watched it again, and I like what I saw from the young man. So he's slated in as the starting left guard, and is probably would be the most experienced offensive lineman on this team as far as knowing the playbook and then having the snaps. Then if you go look at tackle, it looks like Zach Banner is potentially going to be the starting right tackle. And I have Joe Haig penciled in as the starting left tackle. Now, I don't know how viable he is as an option for a starting left tackle. But because he has years of experience in the NFL, I would think you want to put an experienced guy there than a young, inexperienced player, to protect Ben Roethlisberger's blind side. Then if we look at the skill position players, obviously you have Big Ben at quarterback. That's a no-brainer. Najee Harris steps in as your starting running back. That's a no-brainer. Obviously one of the best wide receiver cores in the league. You re-sign Juju Smith-Schuster, bring him back. You got Chase Claypool, who had an outstanding rookie year last year. And then look at the tight ends. So we have Eric Ebron. If he can stay healthy, he's going to be a big weapon in this offense. And I could definitely see the Steelers using a lot of 2 tight end sets with, the drafting of Pat Freiermuth. I could see even using Pat in sort of a H-back role. You're going to see him lined up out wide. You're going to see him lined up inline tight end. You're going to see him maybe lined up in the backfield, almost in like a fullback position. I think Freiermuth offers you that versatility where you can move him around in your offense. So that may be something fun and interesting to see how they use Pat Freiermuth in this offense. But this looks like the potential starting offense. And if you look at the skill position players, Claypool, Juju, Freiermuth, Ebron, Harris, Roethlisberger, I don't see any weaknesses there. The only weakness is those 5 guys in front of them. And if that offensive line can stay healthy, can build cohesion and camaraderie, and they can play together, I think this Steelers offense will be absolutely fine. Let's move over now to the Steelers defense. Traditional 3-4 defense. This is a team that loves to blitz, loves to send pass rushers off the edge. They love versatility. You see that with their safeties and their linebackers. So let's just go through. At nose tackle, projected starter was Tyson Alualu. At our defensive end positions in our 3-4, excuse me, we have, excuse me, I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. Defensive ends in our 3-4 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, we have Stephon Tuitt, Cameron Hayward. These guys are stalwarts in this defense. They've been around a long time. Very good, very highly productive. Can't go wrong with those front 3. Behind them, we have our linebackers. So at our inside linebackers, we have Devin Bush and Vince Williams. Outside linebackers, we have TJ Watt. Some people say he got ripped off and should have been Defensive Player of the Year. I think he had a great season. I think he's going to build on that. Maybe he has a chip on his shoulder for not winning the Defensive Player of the Year award, and he comes out even more on fire than he was last year, especially now with fans in the stadium, and you can hear him rocking at Heinz Field, and you got that momentum building. I think TJ Watt continues to build on an absolutely amazing career so far. And then opposite of him, here's one where I threw a wrench in. I know Alex Highsmith, came in when Bud Dupree went down with his ACL injury last year. And he was manageable. He did a decent job, filling in as a starter when he wasn't projected to be. He was projected to be a rotational piece. You got TJ, you got Bud Dupree, and Highsmith comes in as a rotational piece. And it may be Alex Highsmith's job to lose. However, I love Quincy Roche. I like his style of play. I like his speed to power. I like his agility off the edge. I like his handwork. I like his mobility and flexibility and the way he can bend coming around that edge. And you got TJ Watt on the other side. So no matter who is opposite TJ at the outside linebacker, they are focusing on TJ. Especially if you got TJ and Cam Howard on the same side, they're focusing their attention over there. So I think if he's able to grasp the concept of this defense, which I'm not saying by any means is easy, but if he's able to grasp the concepts of this defense, don't be surprised if Quincy Roche is the starting outside linebacker because of the way Pittsburgh likes to play defense. They like to blitz. They like to send their pass rushers off the edge. And you need somebody who can consistently get pressure on the opposing quarterback because TJ is coming. You know they're going to double team him. You know they're going to slide protection that way. They're going to leave a tight end to block and chip. They're going to have running backs chip. You need somebody on that opposite edge to get consistent pressure on the quarterback, to open things up for that defensive front, for a blitzing Devin Bush or Vince Williams, and to give TJ some more one-on-one opportunities. Don't be surprised if Quincy Roche steps into that starting role. And then you got the secondary. Now, I was surprised at this, that the Steelers declined the fifth-year option for Terrell Edmunds. I was really surprised at that. Maybe they see something that we don't. I do know he's athletic. I know he has great speed. I know he's a solid hitter, but maybe they see something where, they didn't want to pick up his fifth-year option. Hopefully, he can have a great year this year. Because they didn't pick up his fifth-year option, they may have to pay him. But maybe they're understanding that, if he is playing well, they may not be able to pay him. With them having to get rid of who they got rid of on their offensive line, they may not have enough money, to throw Terrell Edmunds the bag the way he might require. But got Terrell Edmunds, a strong safety, one of my favorite safeties in the league, Minkah Fitzpatrick out of Alabama. He was in Miami for a little bit, got traded to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is utilizing Minkah the way Minkah needs to be utilized. He's all over the field. He's showing his cerebral nature that Nick Saban loved. He's a student of the game. He studies hard, and it's showing in his play on the field. Outside, starting cornerbacks look to be Cameron Sutton and Joe Hayden. Again, we lost two corners via free agency. So we may want to look at this cornerback position. Are there any battles in training camp of any young stars who might want to step up and assume the third and fourth role behind these two guys? But it looks like the projected starters that I see for this defense are the veteran Joe Hayden and Cameron Sutton. So that's going to do it. These videos won't be too lengthy. We're just going to do a quick checkup, see who a team lost, see who they gained, look at the projected starters as we get ready for training camp. Training camp, there's a whole bunch of things that can happen. Some guys, they rise to the challenge and, they assume their starting position that they had last year. Some other guys step up and take their game to the next level and come out of nowhere and challenge a guy for a starting role. Other players decline and decrease, and the production that they had last year doesn't seem to be, on the same trajectory this year. Unfortunately, injuries are a part of the game. Guys get injured in mini camp and OTAs, and it's bound to happen in training camp. So we might see some things change with, these starting lineups. If, a premier guy goes down, knock on wood, we don't want that to happen. But we know, unfortunately, that's part of the business of football. So training camp is going to unfold as it unfolds. So we're just going to do a quick check in and check up with all of these teams, see where they're at now, and then just take a look throughout training camp. Let's see what's happening. What players are stepping up? What players are improving? What players are not improving? Are there any remaining free agents who may, fill a spot on a roster? Going into OTAs, maybe somebody gets hurt, or maybe a young player isn't developing or progressing as he should. And a veteran is out there free, and a team calls him and say, look, we need help. We need you. Come in. That could change these starting lineups. So again, this is why I started this channel. I love this time of year. I love football all around. Every aspect leading up to, the first week of the season to week 18, which it'll be this year, not 17, week 18. That'll be this year. And then into the playoffs and the Super Bowl. All of it is important. Every single aspect, free agency, the draft, minicamp, OTAs, preseason, it's all important. And things happen at different stages that unfold and unravel. And we want to see how teams maneuver, how they react to a player ascending or descending? You know, somebody getting injured. Now what's the plan? Do we have somebody on the roster who can step up? Do we need to make a trade? Is there a free agent available? So again, this series is just going to be a quick checkup, see where we're at, and see where we're going as we head into training camp. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button for me. I greatly appreciate it. If you want to connect with me, you can do so by dropping a comment below. I love interacting with fans of all 32 teams. It's been amazing so far, and I just want us to keep that up. You can also hit me on all of my social media accounts: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm on all of those platforms. I stream live through Twitch, so you can follow me over there. When I go live, we working out some things in the background, and I got some live schedule coming up. So you want to be in tune with that. So that's how you can interact with me. Again, I'll leave the links for all of those social media platforms below. And since you're here, you might as well do me a favor. Your family now, there's nothing you can do about it. So I appreciate you, family, but I appreciate you even more if you take 2 seconds and hit that subscribe button. Then take another 2 seconds and hop on over to that bell icon so that you get notified every time new content drops right here at Mo's Notes. We are on episode 1 of the checkup. Episode 2 will be the Cowboys. Episode 3 will be the Bucks. And then we'll go through all 32 episodes for the rest of the NFL teams as we get ready for training camp at the end of July. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I greatly appreciate it. Love you all. And I will see you in the next episode. Peace.